Hey everyone, did you know that over 90% of you watching right now haven't hit that subscribe button? If you enjoy our content, take a second to subscribe. It's free and it really helps us keep bringing you great stories every day. Ethan had always believed that love was built on trust. When he met Claire, everything felt easy. She laughed at his jokes, even the bad ones, and remembered the little things he said, like how he liked his coffee or the way he preferred silence over music when driving. After 3 years of being together, he proposed to her on a quiet beach, with the wind carrying his trembling voice. She said yes with tears in her eyes and arms wrapped around him. It was the happiest day of his life. They moved into a small but cozy apartment, filled with plants and photographs of their shared memories. Ethan worked long hours at a marketing firm, while Claire worked from home as a graphic designer. She often sat on their balcony, laptop on her lap, hair tied up, and glasses perched on her nose. He thought she looked the most beautiful that way, unaware of how lovely she was. Everything felt perfect, at least for a while. One evening, Ethan came home earlier than usual. He was hoping to surprise Claire with takeout from her favorite Thai restaurant. As he entered, the apartment was quiet. He tiptoed in, expecting to find her in the living room, but Claire wasn't there. Then he heard the faint sound of her voice coming from the bedroom. She was speaking softly, her words muffled. He paused by the door, confused. "I miss you too." "No, he doesn't know anything," she whispered. Ethan froze. His chest tightened, and he felt a cold wave rush over him. A strange buzzing filled his ears. Before he could fully process what he was hearing, Claire stepped out of the room. She startled at the sight of him standing there, holding the bag of food. "Ethan, you scared me," she said, trying to smile. I I just got home," he replied, his voice flat. "Who were you talking to?" Claire blinked, her smile faltering for a second. "Oh, that was just a client. I'm working on a project and needed to clarify something." He nodded slowly, but something didn't sit right with him. Later that night, when she stepped into the shower, he walked into the bedroom. He wasn't trying to snoop, but his heart pulled him toward her side of the closet. He opened the drawer where she kept her art supplies, and there it was, a second phone, tucked underneath a sketchbook. His hands trembled as he picked it up. The screen was locked, but he didn't need to see the messages. The fact that it existed at all shattered something inside him. When Claire came out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around her, her expression changed the moment she saw the phone in his hand. "What is this, Claire?" His voice cracked. She stood frozen for a second, then rushed to him. "Ethan, listen to me. It's not what you think." He couldn't speak. He stared at her, waiting for a lie, for the truth, for something. "It's a business phone," she said. "A client gave it to me months ago. They wanted me to be available without distractions from my personal phone. I didn't tell you because I didn't think it mattered. I didn't want to worry you." Ethan looked at her, eyes searching. She looked sincere. Her voice was steady, her hands trembling only slightly. "I swear there's nothing going on," she added. "You can look through it." He hesitated. "Then unlock it." She smiled nervously and typed the code. Ethan scrolled through the messages. Most were about designs, color palettes, branding ideas. A few seemed more personal, but they were vague. He wanted to believe her. He needed to. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions." Claire hugged him tightly, her face buried in his chest. "It's okay. I understand. I should have told you." Later that week, Ethan bought her a gift. It was a stuffed teddy bear, cream-colored with a small red bow around its neck. He said it was to apologize for not trusting her. But there was something else inside, a tiny voice recorder. He had found it online, almost like a prank gift, and placed it inside the bear's stitched back pocket. He didn't know why he did it. Maybe he was still unsure. Maybe part of him needed proof that he was wrong, that Claire truly loved him. The recorder could only hold about an hour of audio. He told himself he wouldn't check it. But one night, after Claire had gone to sleep early, he gave in. He turned it on. At first, it was nothing. Rustling, distant TV sounds, the creak of the bed as Claire moved. Then, her voice. "I can't keep pretending forever. He believes me now, but it's getting harder." A pause. "I know, I miss you too. I wish we could just be together already. I'm trying, but I need more time. Ethan sat still, the device cold in his hands. The sound of his own breathing seemed louder than everything else. He played the last part again, hoping he heard it wrong. But no, it was clear. I miss you too. I wish we could just be together. He didn't know how long he sat there. Time didn't matter. The world outside didn't exist. He looked toward the bedroom door. Claire was in there, sleeping, like nothing had happened. How long had she been lying to him? Was it really her ex she was talking to? Was she planning to leave? The next morning, he acted normal. He smiled, kissed her forehead, made her coffee. Inside, his heart was a war zone. He didn't confront her yet. Not because he was afraid, he just needed to understand everything before he shattered both of their lives. He began watching her more closely. She smiled when she got messages. She stepped out often to take calls. She said she was going to meet clients, but never let him come along. Every lie became clearer now that he knew the truth. But Ethan didn't want revenge. He wanted answers. One evening, while Claire was taking a nap on the couch, her second phone buzzed. He picked it up. The name on the screen made his heart sink. Liam. He remembered the name. Her ex. The one who broke her heart. The one she swore she would never speak to again. Ethan walked out onto the balcony and sat in the cold. The city lights blurred through tears he didn't notice falling. How do you move on from this? How do you keep living next to someone who holds your heart, but shares her own with someone else? He didn't know yet, but he knew the truth now, and he knew what he had to do next. Ethan spent the next few days living in silence, pretending nothing had changed, though everything inside him had shattered. He moved like a shadow through their apartment, smiling when needed, speaking softly, and doing all the things a loving fiancé was supposed to do. But beneath his calm surface was a storm. Rage, heartbreak, confusion. Each moment with Claire felt like a lie now, each laugh forced, every touch carefully measured. He didn't confront her right away. He wanted to understand the full picture. He needed to know if it was just emotional or if it had already turned into something physical. More than anything, he needed to know why. Why would someone so loved, so trusted, turn around and secretly talk to the one person who had once broken them? Late at night, after Claire was asleep, Ethan sat in the living room, playing the voice recorder hidden inside the stuffed teddy bear again and again. Her words haunted him. I wish we could just be together already. I'm trying, but I need more time. He replayed every detail in his head. Her late-night calls, the way she flinched when he asked where she was going, the strange tension that lingered after she'd return. And yet she still kissed him goodnight. She still smiled at him in the mornings, making him coffee like everything was normal. One morning, he decided to follow her. Claire said she had a meeting with a client downtown. She wore a soft beige coat and curled her hair, something she rarely did unless it was a special occasion. Ethan waited until she left, then slipped into his car and tailed her from a distance. She didn't go downtown. She drove to a quiet neighborhood near the lake, parking beside a modest house with a garden full of yellow flowers. Ethan pulled up a block away, far enough not to be seen. From his car, he watched Claire walk to the door and knock. A man opened it. Tall, broad-shouldered, familiar. It was Liam. Ethan's heart dropped. Claire smiled and stepped inside. The door closed behind her. He waited for an hour, then another. His hands gripped the steering wheel the whole time, his thoughts racing through every possible explanation. But in the end, he knew. You don't visit your ex in secret, dressed nicely, smiling like that, and stay that long without a reason. When Claire finally left, she looked calm. Peaceful, even. She got in her car and drove back toward home. Ethan followed, his mind numb. That evening, when she returned, she kissed him on the cheek and said the meeting went well. He didn't ask questions, he couldn't trust the answers. Later that night, he added a second recorder to the bear. This one could connect wirelessly to his phone. He hated himself for it. It felt wrong, sneaky. But what she had done was worse. He wasn't the one who broke their trust. He was just trying to survive it. Over the next few days, Ethan listened to recordings. Sometimes Claire talked to herself. Sometimes she hummed or watched TV. But then, on a Thursday evening, after he told her he had to work late and she believed him, he caught something new. The audio started quietly. Then he heard Claire's voice. "I can't believe we've gone this long without being caught." Liam's voice replied, faint but clear. "He's so naive. You're lucky. Some guys would have seen through it by now." Claire laughed, a sound Ethan hadn't heard from her in weeks. "I feel bad sometimes," she said. "He's good to me. Better than you ever were." There was silence. Then Liam spoke again. "But you're still here with me." "I know," she whispered. "I don't even know what I'm doing anymore." Ethan stopped the recording. He felt sick. Not just from her betrayal, but from the way she said it. There was regret in her voice, but not enough to stop. She knew what she was doing was wrong, yet she kept going. With every lie, every secret visit, she was tearing down the life they'd built together. And now Ethan was sitting in the middle of its ruins. He thought about confronting her that night. But what would it change? She would cry, maybe beg for forgiveness, or worse, deny everything. Ethan wanted more than answers now. He wanted to see if she would come clean on her own. So he waited. One evening, he casually brought up their wedding. "Have you thought about the guest list?" he asked, stirring pasta on the stove. Claire looked up from her phone. "Yeah, a bit. Why?" "I just want to make sure we don't forget anyone important." She smiled. "We won't. I've got a list saved on my laptop." Ethan looked at her, trying to find the truth in her eyes. "What about Liam?" She froze. It lasted only a second, but he noticed. "Liam?" she asked. "Yeah, you said he was a big part of your past. Do you think we should invite him?" Claire set her fork down slowly. "I haven't talked to Liam in years." Ethan stared at her. That was the moment she could have told the truth, but she didn't. And that was all he needed to know. That night, while she was in the shower, Ethan packed a small bag and placed it by the door. He wasn't going to leave just yet, but he needed to prepare. Then he sat on the couch with the bear in his hands, the one he had given her with love now tainted with secrets. It felt heavy now, like it carried the weight of their entire relationship. He pressed play on the latest recording. This time, the conversation was clearer. "Are you sure you want to go through with it?" Liam asked. "I don't know," Claire said quietly. "Sometimes I think about calling it off, but Ethan, he's stable, safe. I'm not even sure if what we have is real anymore." "Then why stay?" Liam asked. "Because I'm scared," she admitted. "Scared of hurting him. Scared of being alone if you decide to leave again. I don't know what I want." Ethan turned off the recording. It was the first time he saw her not just as a betrayer, but as someone confused, lost. Still, it didn't change what she had done. Lies are still lies, even if told with fear. The next morning, he told Claire he had a surprise planned for the weekend. She lit up with excitement. "Really? What kind of surprise?" "You'll see," he said. But it wouldn't be the kind of surprise she expected. Ethan had something else in mind. Something that would bring everything to light. And maybe, just maybe, help him find a way to heal. He wasn't sure how the story would end yet, but he knew it would never go back to what it was. Saturday arrived with a quiet tension in the air. Claire had dressed in a light blue sundress, hair brushed with care, lipstick carefully applied. She was glowing, excited by the promise of a weekend surprise. Ethan smiled and held her hand, pretending his heart wasn't heavy with everything he knew. They drove out of the city, passing winding roads, small fields, and forests lining the highway. Claire leaned her head on his shoulder at a stoplight and said, "I've missed this. Just the two of us." Ethan's hands gripped the wheel tighter. An hour later, they pulled up to a cozy lakefront cabin. Claire gasped. "Ethan, you didn't... This is beautiful." He gave her a smile, the kind he used to wear without effort. "I thought we could use some time away from the noise." She ran inside, twirling like a little girl, opening windows and breathing in the clean air. Ethan followed, placing their bags in the bedroom, keeping his expression calm. He glanced at the small camera he'd placed discreetly on the bookshelf, its tiny light blinking softly, unnoticeable. He didn't want to do it this way, but after everything he needed clarity, not more lies. They spent the day walking by the lake, taking pictures, cooking dinner together. Claire seemed genuinely happy, and for a moment, Ethan found himself wondering if she was conflicted, if part of her truly still loved him. But every time he looked at her, he remembered the recordings, the meetings with Liam, the way she'd lied even when given a chance to tell the truth. That night, they sat by the fire, a blanket wrapped around their shoulders. Claire leaned into him and whispered, "You're so good to me." Ethan looked at the flames and said, "I just want honesty. That's all I've ever wanted." She pulled back slightly, her expression shifting. "What do you mean?" He didn't answer. Instead, he stood and walked into the cabin. Claire hesitated before following him inside. In the living room, Ethan picked up the stuffed teddy bear from their bag. He handed it to her. "Remember this?" he asked. Claire smiled faintly. Of course, it was the sweetest thing. He held her gaze. "You know what's inside it?" She tilted her head, puzzled. "You said it had a little message. I never played it." He nodded. "It records sound, everything around it." Her smile faded. "What?" she said softly. "I heard everything, Claire." His voice didn't shake, though his chest burned. Every conversation, every whisper. She stood frozen, the bear limp in her arms. "Ethan." "I know about Liam," he said. "I know you've been seeing him. I know you lied." Claire sank onto the couch, her face pale. "I was going to tell you." "When?" he asked, voice rising slightly. "When we were already married? When it was too late for me to leave without losing everything?" Tears welled up in her eyes. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." "But it did." His words were firm, cold. "You kept the second phone. You went to his house. You told him you didn't know what you wanted, but not once did you stop and come to me." Claire wiped her face, shaking. "I was scared. I didn't want to hurt you." "You hurt me every day you lied," he said. "Every time you came home from seeing him and looked me in the eyes." She looked up at him, her expression desperate. "It was never physical, I swear. We talked. I was confused. I thought I missed him. But it was never about going back to him. I didn't know how to deal with it." "That doesn't make it better," Ethan said quietly. "You chose silence. You chose lies." She looked away, staring at the floor. "What are you going to do?" Ethan picked up a small bag he had packed earlier that morning. "I'm going to stay with my brother for a while. You'll have the cabin for the weekend. Maybe it's time you figured out what you really want." Claire stood. "Ethan, please don't go. Don't throw this away." He turned to her, his eyes full of pain. "You already did." He walked out the door, the night air sharp against his skin. Claire didn't follow him. She just stood there in the glow of the fireplace, holding the bear that had carried all her secrets. Days passed. Ethan didn't call, and neither did she. He needed space, to breathe, to think, to heal. 1 week later, Claire showed up at his brother's house. She looked tired, her face free of makeup, hair tied loosely behind her. She asked if they could talk. Ethan agreed, and they sat on the porch, the wind gently moving the leaves above them. "I wanted to be honest now," she said quietly. "I've ended everything with Liam. I deleted the second phone. I told him not to contact me again." Ethan looked at her, but said nothing. "I was weak," she admitted. "I loved how he made me feel, wanted, exciting, familiar. But it was nothing compared to what we had. I just didn't realize it until I almost lost it." "You did lose it," Ethan said gently. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I know. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry. Deeply, truly." He stared at her, silent for a moment. "I loved you so much I bought a bear to say sorry for doubting you. All while you were lying to me." She lowered her head, unable to speak. Then Ethan did something unexpected. He reached into his coat pocket and handed her a small box. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was the engagement ring. "I'm not giving this back," he said softly. "Not yet, but I'm not keeping it either." She looked up at him, confused. "You need to decide if you want to wear it again, but this time, for the right reasons. No lies, no doubt." Claire sobbed, holding the ring to her chest. "I'll never hurt you again," she whispered. "I hope that's true," he said. "But for now, I'm giving both of us time, real time, not a weekend escape, not pretending everything is okay." They sat in silence. The pain would not vanish overnight. Trust wouldn't rebuild in a week. But something had cracked open between them, something honest, raw, and maybe still alive. Whether they would find their way back to each other remained to be seen. But one thing was certain: the teddy bear, the second phone, the cabin, and the truth. They had all changed everything. And for the first time in a long while, Ethan felt like he was finally waking up.